about you, but I love color. And I've mentioned before I like to use a split primary palette, which means I have a cool and a warm of each color, so yellow, blue, and red. And I have regular visitors, transparent red oxide, which I use all the time. And when I'm painting oceans, I use cobalt teal and turquoise and those kind of colors. So I also noticed that my paintings kind of seem to all look the same, which was bothering me. And so I thought, well, let me experiment a little bit. So I thought I would check and see what a limited palette could do for landscape. So I did a ChatGPT search and I said, what is the recommended limited palette for a landscape? And I also asked about still life. So it gave me two palettes, but the one I'm going to talk about today is the limited palette they recommended for landscapes. That is yellow ochre, ultramarine blue, and burnt sienna. I thought, oh, that's kind of weird, but I decided to give it a try. So I'd like to show you the process, what I ended up with, and get your opinion. So let's get going. So these three colors are supposed to give you natural skies, earthy grounds, and soft greens. And the burnt sienna is supposed to warm your mixtures and create some rich darks. And this is supposed to lead to a harmonious outdoorsy appearance. Here's my reference photo. Let's see if this really works. I'm starting my painting off with burnt sienna as a base coat on the panel. With this ground, I usually kind of spread it all over and then I kind of wipe it clean so the whole panel is completely coated. This is my palette, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and ultramarine blue. And of course, I always have white on the side. And I'm starting my outline with burnt sienna, a little bit of the yellow ochre, and off we go. Okay, now we're working on the cliffs. So up to the sky, ultramarine blue, white, just a tinge of yellow ochre, and I'm trying to allow some of the burnt sienna to show through. That was the goal in using the ground with the burnt sienna, because you can really get some nice harmony in a painting when you have a ground color that shows through in the various aspects of your painting. And you can have red showing through in your water, you can have red showing through in your sky, or whatever color you choose for your ground. It adds a nice component to it. So you can see now I'm working on the water, making the water smoother in the distance toward the shore. There's some seaweed in the water, so we're using, guess what, burnt sienna to show it, with a little bit of ultramarine blue. So as I mentioned, pretty much everything I'm doing here is just with these three colors. So those are supposed to be some trees in the distance. I tried to use the ultramarine blue with yellow ochre, but I don't really get a very vibrant green with those. Those are palm tree trunks. I'm wondering how I'm going to get that green. I can't really see it very well. You'll see me cheat just a little bit further on down the road. That's my first house that just went in. And then I'm going to have a bunch of houses. This is actually Cayucas, so I'm going to have a bunch of houses in the distance. But I'm not going to paint them individually. I'm just going to have little marks. Let's step back and take a look. Okay, back to working on the water. I've got ultramarine blue and white, and I'm trying to make the surf look like it's hitting the rocks. The light is coming from the left, and that needs to be reflected on the rocks as well. Dab, dab, dab. So far, even though I'm finding this color mixing for this difficult, I do kind of like the appearance of the mountains in the distance, and it does seem like a more cohesive painting color-wise. Trying to make this appear more like a cliff. When I was looking at the distance, I thought I need to make that beach a little bit lighter. It's not really very noticeable. I need to darken the shadows on the mountains, and the shadows are caused by the clouds. So at this point I'm noticing that this is actually a little plateau, and so I need to show the striations of the rocks horizontally and change the appearance of it. Really, you could almost never be done with a painting. You could endlessly change it. I think this is improving it. Here's a little graphic on the perks of being an artist. Okay, enough humor, let's get back to it. So at this point in the painting, as we're nearing completion, I'm dancing around a little bit, going to the water, going to the rocks. Okay, let's check it out. Some close views of the rocks, of the mountains. Look around the city or the town. How's the water? Are we almost done? Yeah, I think we're almost there. This has been an interesting experiment for me. So I have decided that I'm done, and this is the final painting. Let me know what you think. Would you be willing to paint with just 3 colors? Happy painting!